family. Have you ever had a burning question that you need to ask? A question that has got no respectful or polite or decent way of asking. On this particular day, I'm in the field doing my work, and I get approached by a lady who is inviting me for lunch. You know, she says, you do such good work for us, and I've got no way of thanking you, except I've made lunch for you today, and I'd like you to join me. So I say, thank you very much, and I join her. We sit, we have lunch together at her house, which is on screen, and we chat. And when we finish, as I step out of her house, a man just springs in front of me, and there's no house or door where he could have come from. So I really wanted to ask where he came from. So I say to him, Budwamumde, he's a tall man. I say, Budwamumde. He says, Mtasendimde. So I just want to know, where do you come from? And he's not saying anything. So I continue, and I said to him, where did you come from? And he says, oh, I was just here at home, and he points the house on screen. Well, I don't know what to call it. But it looks big on screen. But when I'm standing, I'm a tall woman. When I'm standing, it is up to my waist. And I say to him, sir, I'm sorry to ask, but you are a bit tall, so I don't understand how you go in and out of this structure. And as we are talking, a little girl comes and latches onto him. And I ask, so who is this beautiful angel? And he says, it's my daughter. I ask, your daughter? Where does she stay? He says, we stay here together. So I say, sir, I just have to ask you directly. How do you sleep? Because you are bigger than the house. And he says, Seswam there's a song. That means I fold myself. And in the early hours of the morning, when the muscle cramps are unbearable, I then open the bottom part of the door and stretch my legs out. The bottom part of the door is a cloth. It's like a blanket. So how does a human being sleep like that every night? This structure has got no place for two people to sleep. So I say to him, sir, I'm rushing to a meeting. Could I have your cell number? You know, I'm very respectful of people's spaces. I don't just impose myself, but I impose myself on this man. I say to him, I'm very sorry, but I have to impose myself, especially for the little girl. So please give me your number, and I'll make a plan and see if I can place you in a different place. I am rushing to a meeting to the next township, which is called Horizon Deep. It's a colored township, or a New Horizon. I was going to meet the leadership there. Mr. Claude Terblanche, who later became a mayor in Plet. So he had called me, and he had other community leaders there. They had an urgent request to make. So 2 townships from Kolweni, I had just gotten a farm. And this farm had big halls, and it had some cottages, and it had a 6-bedroom house. So what I was doing, there was construction at the farm at that moment. I was partitioning the halls to make classrooms, because I couldn't wait for a school to be built, and I couldn't stand the children at 6 o'clock in the street. So I was starting like a temporary school. So they were busy partitioning, separating the hall into many classrooms. Then it had a main house that had 6 bedrooms, because my lawyers who work at the pro bono law clinic come from Natal, Cape Town, Johannesburg. They've got no accommodation in Plet. So I had placed them at the house. And then I had some cottages and halls. So they are saying, we are very grateful of the effort you are making for Plet. We appreciate the education, but unfortunately, education is a privilege that we cannot afford at the moment. Our people are sleeping in the street. It is raining heavily and people have got no shelter. So we are calling you to ask if we can use the farm for families who sleep in the street. There was nothing to discuss. After what I had just seen with the gentleman and the daughter who live in a place worse than a doghouse, there was no argument. I said to them, let's go to my house, gave them the keys to the farm. I looked for places to rent in town to put my lawyers there, and I emptied everybody, and I gave them the keys. I took the father and the daughter and moved them to the farm, and other families that I was working with who were struggling with accommodation at the time. And then I do what I normally do at night after a long day. I just got into the shower and I pray to God that He washes my shame for leaving our people staying in squalor like that. And on this particular day, I am very disturbed. And God washed me all right. He actually washed my pride. Because if you remember, when Standard Bank occasioned the loss of my funding through their bank fraud, I vowed that I will never take anybody's money again. I vowed that I'll never ask for anybody's money again. But after what I saw and what I see every day in the squatter camps, as I left the shower, my pride had vanished. I left it there. There was no ego. I came out, I sat on my computer, I wrote to everybody I know that has money. I wrote to all my clients from my banking days, and I told them what I need to do, and I need money. I wasn't even asking for a handout. I don't like free things. I was asking for a loan, but I was asking for a grace period to allow me to sweat the asset and be able to pay the money back. And the people were responding. They were telling me COVID destroyed their businesses. You know, they wish me well, and people were responding. But I got one mail from a German heiress, very wealthy family. They have businesses all over the world. They are very big in South Africa as well. So she wrote 2 words, Rufenbitte, please call. So I called her, and she said to me, I was trying to explain the project and what's the problem, and she said, Frau Hammond, warten bitte. She said, ich habe in 2 Tagen eine Vorstandssitzung. Wenn Sie vielleicht in Cologne, können Sie gerne vorbeikommen und Ihr Projekt dem Vorstand vorstellen. That means just wait with the explanation. In 2 days' time, I have a board meeting. And if vielleicht means maybe, if by any chance you are in Cologne, you can come to my office and present your project to my board. I packed my bags, got on my plane the same evening. I flew to Cologne, Germany.